Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you're connecting from. You're welcome to today's live stream. I want to believe you can hear me. If you can hear me loud and clear, please drop a comment. If you can hear me loud and clear, please drop a comment. For those of you who've been asking which broker do I make use of, okay. For those of you who've been asking which broker I make use of, I trade with Aura Market, okay. Aura Market is the broker I make use of. Okay, you're welcome. You're welcome. Has been trading this week. Broker, good morning. Has been trading this week. If you have any question, any pair you want me to analyze, please let me know in the comment section. If you have any question or any pair you want me to analyze, please drop it in the comment section. Confirm you can hear me loud and clear. Confirm you can hear me loud and clear. Good morning, Mr. Atonda. Good morning. Thanks for joining. So let's start by looking at the fundamentals. Today is Thursday, the 19th of June. And these are the major news we're expecting today. Australia has released its employment change and unemployment rate. And as you can see here, it's negative. Employment change was negative for Australian dollar, and unemployment rate is neutral. Forecast equals actual. Okay, so this is neutral. Unemployment rate was neutral, then employment change was negative. So I think this was a negative data for Australian dollar, and that could be the reason. This could be one of the reasons Australian dollar has been bearish. Let's confirm that on the chart. I think Australian dollar has been bearish. Made so much profit on Australian dollar USD. Okay, it's been bearish. Okay, and I think it's still bearish. Okay, it is still bearish. Australian dollar USD is still bearish. We'll analyze it in a few minutes. Okay, let's go back to Forex Factory. Then by 8:30 a.m., Swiss franc relates its policy assessment, monetary policy assessment, and policy rate, and you can see the forecast equals the actual. This is neutral for Swiss franc. You can see that. So the next news, the next major news we are waiting for is monetary policy summary for Great Britain, official bank rate votes, and also official bank rate. So that's what we're waiting for. By 12 p.m. This will be released by 12 p.m. So if you are considering trading GBP pairs, I'll be looking out for this by 12 p.m. I'll be looking for good setups on GBP pairs, because if the news is positive for Great Britain pounds, we should expect bullish move on for GBP. Okay, that will be positive for GBP. If it is positive, then we should look for buys on. Should be considering buying GBP. Okay, we should be considering buying GBP. Should be considering buying GBP. It means that pairs that have GBP as the base will be buy, and those that have it as counter would sell. I hope that is clear. If the news is positive for Great Britain pounds, we'll look for buys on currency pairs that have GBP as the base, and we'll look for sells on currencies that have GBP as the counter. Okay, I think it's Euro GBP. It's only Euro GBP that has GBP as the counter. Other base GBP is based on other currency, but I think it's only Euro GBP. Am I correct? Yeah, I think it's only Euro GBP that has GBP as the base. So sorry, as a counter. Okay, so that's it for the fundamentals. No major news for the dollar today. So there's a high probability that our technical outlook or setup will play out. Okay, since there are no major news for the dollar. So let's go to the chart. So we'll start by looking at US dollar. Like I shared with you guys on Monday or Tuesday, I was expecting Great Britain dollar index to come and fill this fair value gap. It has filled this fair value gap, and yesterday it closed. Yesterday was bullish. Okay. So it has filled this fair value gap. So the question now is, would it reverse from this fair value gap? As you can see, we're seeing little retracement from this fair value gap now. This is 4-hour time frame, but we need to go to, let's see what we have on the weekly, and you can see the weekly is still bullish. Weekly is still bullish. Let's go down to daily. Let's see what we have on the daily. Daily also is still bullish. Okay, daily is still bullish. Daily is still bullish. 4-hour also. Let's see how the last candle closed on 4-hour yesterday. So this was the last candle on 4-hour. It was the last candle for yesterday market. Yeah, and it was this was the last candle. So you can see it closed strongly. It was strongly bullish. It was strongly bullish. Okay, so this tells me the dollar is still bullish. Dollar is still bullish. Weekly and daily still says bullish. So let's go down to, let me go back to daily. So you can see, I would like to see dollar clear the liquidity resided at this previous high. I think that's the next target. Okay, there are a lot of stop losses residing at this previous high. This is an area of liquidity that I think the market will want to clear before going bearish. Okay, let's go down to 4-hour. So on 4-hour, you can see we still have, I think we still have, okay, you can see all these fair value gaps. Okay, so if they are able to clear the liquidity residing at this previous high, then they would come for this fair value gap. Okay, they will come for this fair value gap. So that's my expectation on the dollar. These are the areas or levels I will be considering selling the dollar. This level or this level, this fair value gap or this fair value gap. That is where I'll be considering selling the dollar. But right now, my bias for the dollar still remains bullish. So at what point should you buy? For those who have not been buying dollar, I've made profit on Australian dollar USD, I've made profit on Euro USD and GBP USD on dollar, and also I sold the NZD USD. I made close to 100 and something pips on NZD USD. Okay, so at what point should you consider buying dollar today? Let's see, 15 minutes. Okay, on 15 minutes, we have this fair value gap here on 15 minutes. Okay, this would be a good area to consider buying. Okay, this would be a good area. If price pulls back to this zone, you could join the bullish trend on dollar. If price pulls back to this zone, okay. So let me apply Fibonacci from this swing low. Let's take it from this swing low to this swing high. You can see price is still at a premium. We want to see price pull back to a discount area before we buy. Okay, so this would be a very good area to consider buying the dollar. As you can see on 15 minutes here, you can see shifting market structure has occurred. First thing that played out here was a sweep of liquidity, and after sweep of liquidity, there was a shift in market structure at this point. You can see shifting market structure occurred at this point, and price, pulled back to fill this fair value gap. You can see price pulled back to fill this fair value gap. So on 15 minutes, the trend is bearish. 15 minutes, 5 minutes, and 1 minute is bearish at the moment. But like I've always advised, that you stick to the higher time frame trend. The higher time frame trend. Okay, so on a lower time frame, if you're looking at the 15 minute, 5 minutes, 1 minute, you want to go bearish. Okay, but if you're trading against the higher trend, you're taking a very high risk. Okay, you're taking a very high risk, and most times the risk reward on counter trends is very low. Is very low. If you are trading pullbacks, if you're trading against the trend, your risk reward will not go above maybe 1:1.5. When you are trading along with the trend, you can go for 1 to 3, 1 to 4, 1 to 5. When you're trading against the trend, the risk reward is very poor. So this is a sell. So you want to wait for price to pull back to 98.63. This is where I will be considering buying the dollar today. I hope that is clear. I hope that is clear. Let me make a comment section. Good morning. Good morning. Mr. Raphael, good morning. Have any question, anything you want me to analyze, let me know in the comment section. So that's my take on the dollar. I hope that is clear. This would be a good area to consider selling. What if price does not pull back to this zone? What if price does not pull back to this zone? Understand that trading is a game of probability. Okay, there is no guarantee, there is no assurance that it's going to come down to this zone. What if it doesn't come back to this zone? Okay, if it doesn't come back to this zone, I might want to go bullish if this resistance on the 1 hour time frame is broken. If the candle closes above this, okay, or let's work with this fair value gap here, which is acting as a resistance. Okay, you can see this fair value gap. Okay, so if price breaks out from this resistance, okay, or you call it your fair value gap, if price breaks out from this zone, then I could buy the dollar. So it's either price pulls back to a discount, which would be a very good area to consider buying the dollar, okay, or it breaks out from this resistance area. 4 hours should close above this resistance before I would go bullish. 4 hour candle must close above this resistance. Okay, so these are the two areas you should be considering buying. Either price pulls back to this zone for you to buy, or price breaks out from this resistance area. I hope that is clear. So that's my take on dollar index. Let's move to let's see yen. Okay, I have to make use of trading view for yen. So yen, yesterday acting yen to the bias yesterday on yen was bullish. No, I was expecting yen yesterday to be bearish. I was expecting it to be bearish. Okay, so I took a buy on GBP JPY yesterday. That trade went against me. I took a buy on GBP JPY because I was expecting yen to be bearish. So I took a buy, but as you can see, I think after the market hits my SL, you can see it's bearish at the moment. So yen is bearish at the moment. You can see the pattern we had here. You can see the pattern that has formed on 4 hour time frame. And you see this. So this is a bearish pattern on 4 hour time frame. This is a bearish pattern on 4 hour time frame. Let's start with the daily. So you can see yesterday the liquidity that was residing at the high of this was Tuesday. No, okay. Today, yesterday was Wednesday. Today is Thursday. So what they've done this morning is to sweep the liquidity residing at this previous high. That was yesterday high. They've cleared the liquidity. They know a lot of retail traders would have executed sell after the formation of this shooting star. This candle that looks like a shooting star. They know a lot of retail traders would have executed sell, and what they did this morning, the first thing they did was to clear the liquidity residing at that previous high. That they have achieved. You can see that, and you can see the pattern that formed on 4 hour. This is a shooting star, which indicates change in trend from bullish to bearish. Okay, so let's go down to 1 hour. I believe the fair value gap has been created on 1 hour or 15 minutes time frame. So if you want to sell GJ, you can see we have this fair value gap here. This fair value gap got filled at this point. You can see this fair value gap also. At this point, we had this fair value gap, and At this point, you can see price pulled back to fill this fair value gap. You can see after this fair value gap was created here, price pulled back to fill this fair value gap. And what happened? It created this high, and that could be the reason for this pullback. The main lot of retail traders would have expected sell at this point. And where would they have their stop losses? Stop losses will be residing at this previous high. I think that was what played out. You can see they've cleared that liquidity and it's time for price to go bearish. Okay, so yen is bearish at the moment. Okay, right. Okay, so that's my take on yen. Yen is bearish. Based on what I'm saying on the charts now, yen should be bearish and it's likely to come for a liquidity slightly at this previous that's what I think out on yen basket. That's clear. So let's look at currency. GJ. Let's start with GJ. That's from GJ. GJ, like I told you guys yesterday, I caused GJ was at this is just my stop loss. This moves really out. It's out again. Direction. My entry was around 194.66, I think. My entry was around let me confirm the price I think that trade. So this kind of moves would help, you know, and this is what provokes many traders. This kind of move, market hit your SL and it starts moving in your direction. That is why most traders will revenge. You know, they will go in, they keep losing in the market. So the market, I just want to put my entry for 194.55. That was my entry. 194.55. 194.55. So right now, okay. Rushing their SL and the marketers are always advised to use stop loss. Okay, the market will always want you to gain, you know, so you blow your account. Okay, but the market shouldn't be the reason you don't keep yourself. Okay, always apply stop loss. Always apply. Okay, so can you hear me clearly now? Can you hear me clearly? Can you hear me clearly? Can you hear me clearly? Sorry, the network. Okay, I'll look at reports of okay, so you can see GPJ has been bullish, but let's have a buy trade on GPJ right now. I would advise you with joining the best time to see a buy. And we have another candle form here on 1 hour time frame. So this is happening entry for GG. This is happening entry for GG. But if you can miss this opportunity, okay, if you can miss the opportunity from this point, as you can see, I think it's better, right? Is it better now? Is it better now? Is it better now? Is it better now? Yes, Milan. Can you hear me now? I think it's back now. Can you guys hear me now? Is it better? I think it's better now. Can you hear me? All right. Okay. So on GJ, like I said, GJ has been it's been bullish. Okay, and this would have been a better entry. This would have been a good entry for GJ. Okay, this would have been a good entry for GJ. And I think it has done over close to 80 pips from this point. If you had bought from this point by now, you would have made good profit. Okay, you would have made good profit. I don't think it would be the right time or good price to buy GG now. You can see price just, I think, is at a resistance level now. Okay, so we could see a little rejection from this zone. Okay, this is a resistance zone, so price is likely going to retrace from this zone. Okay, so I would advise you wait for price to pull back. Okay, wait for pullback before you join the buy. Okay, GJ is buy. But if you don't have a trade on GJ, if you had not bought GJ from this point, I would advise you wait for price to pull back to a discount area. Okay, wait for price to pull back here. You can see we have this fair value gap here. Wait for price to pull down to this fair value gap, retrace to this fair value gap, or let's see what we have on 15 minutes time frame. Wait for a pullback. Okay, so you can see we have this fair value gap on 15 minutes time frame. This would be a good area to consider. Um, buying GJ with retracement to this. That's okay. Wait for price to pull back to that zone, to this zone. Okay, before you buy GJ. So my bias for GJ is still bullish. I would like to see price pull back to this zone before buying GJ. That is there. That's the GU and EU. That's coming from the GU and EU. Okay, let's look at that. Okay, so that's my take on GJ. So let's look at GU and EU. So remember I said remember we are expecting a major news by 12 p.m. for GBP. We are expecting a major news by 12 p.m. So you could wait for that news to be released. Technically, GBP USD is bearish. GBP USD is bearish, and if the news comes out negative for Great Britain, we should expect more sales on GBP USD. I hope that is clear. If the data comes out negative for GBP, we should expect more sales. Now, you can see what has played out on a daily time frame GU. You can see liquidity residing at this previous low has been cleared. You can see the liquidity residing at this previous low has been cleared. This low here, you can see this low. The liquidity residing at this low has been cleared. So if today's candle closes bullish, then one should be considering buying dollar tomorrow. If today's candle closes bullish, okay, one should be considering buying the dollar. Let's see if there's a fair value gap on a 4-hour time frame that GU might want to come fill before it starts. Let's see. Okay, so we have this fair value gap here on 4 hour that GBP USD might want to come fill today. So if you are selling GBP USD, you would aim for this, for that area. Okay, you aim for this level. This is 1.3313. That's about 100 pips. That's about 100 pips. Okay, so your first target could be 3359, which is about, let's say, 60 pips. Okay, then your second TP should be this. Okay, I think GBP USD is going to get to this area today. Okay, before it bites. Okay, so you can see what's playing out on 4 hour. You can see price just, you see, it created a fair value gap here yesterday on 4 hour time frame. You can see this fair value gap, and as you can see, price has filled this fair value gap. You can see price has filled this fair value gap. So if 4 hour candle closes below this zone, I might go bearish on GBP USD. If 4 hour candle, that's by 2 p.m. This candle will close by 2 p.m. You can see if it closes bearish below this fair value gap, that would be a sell for me. That would be a sell for me. Okay, let's see 1 hour. Let's see 1 hour. Okay, If 4 hour candle closes bearish, okay, you can see 1 hour also is likely going to close bearish. That would be a sell for me. That would be a sell for me. This would be a sell. If I'm selling, let's say sell from this level, my stop loss, I could just use maybe 30 or 35 pips as SL. So this is a sell. This is a sell. Let me go down to 15 minutes. Okay, so on 15 minutes, we have this fair value gap here on 15 minutes. So if I want to take a sell trade on GBP USD, I want to ensure my stop loss is above this fair value gap on 15 minutes time frame. Okay, I want to ensure my stop loss will be above this level, which will be 1.3442. Yeah, that's about 30 pips from the current market price. Okay, that'll be, let me see if we have fair value gap on 5 minutes. Okay, so let's see. Okay, so there is no fair value gap on 5 minutes. No fair value gap on 5 minutes. So I'll be working with this fair value gap on 15 minutes time frame. Okay, so I could just use these highs. Okay, I could just use this as my stop loss 3454. That's about 34 pips from the current market price. Okay, anything that makes a 1 hour candle or 4 hour candle place above this zone, then we should expect more buys on GBP USD. In as much the market is still trading below this zone, GBP USD is bearish. It's bearish. Okay, it is bearish. It is bearish. You can see what played out this morning. You can see what they did this morning. You can see what they did was to clear the liquidity residing at this previous high. You can see this. What time was this? This was today. Yeah, I think this is the high of Asian session. Yeah, this is the high of Asian session. They've cleared liquidity residing at this previous high. They know a lot of retail traders would have executed sell after the formation of this pattern. This looks like a spinning top. The bearish candle close after it. So a lot of retail traders would have executed sell. The smart ones would have been out of this trade at this point. If you had executed this trade, your risk may be 10 pips and you have made over 33 pips. I don't know why you should still be holding the trade. I don't know why. So the smart one should have exited at this point. Okay, you have made so much profit. But those that are greedy, they are still holding on to the trade, and you can see their stop loss has been cleared. Okay, so it's still bearish. I'm tempted to take a sell on GBP USD right now. Okay, set my stop loss. Let me see. I think I'll just go in with little lot size, then later on I will add to it. Okay, well, why not just wait for the Great Britain news to be released before taking this trade? So I think let's just wait for the news to be released before if you want to go in now, as you can see, let's see 15 minutes. Okay, so if you're going to take a trade, at least we should ensure that there's a shifting market structure on 5 minutes. So this is where the shifting market structure would occur on 5 minutes. It has not occurred yet. Let's see 1 minute. So I'll prefer to see price break. Okay, so you can see on 1 minute also So this will be a good area. We'll need to wait for shifting market structure to occur. After shifting market structure, you can see if fair value gap has been created here. This will be a good area to consider selling. Okay, this will be a good area to consider selling. You can see the fair value gap that was created here. They attempted filling that gap at this point, this little retracement, but they didn't fill that fair value gap. So I see this high that was created here as a trap. I see this high as a trap. Okay, I see this as an inducement. This move is to entice retail traders to sell, and their stop losses will be residing at this previous high. And also, some would also have been selling from this point. So stop loss is residing here, stop loss is residing here. So there's a high probability they will come for the stop losses. So I would advise you wait for price to pull back to this zone, this fair value gap, before you sell. I hope that is clear. I hope that is clear. If we are to apply Fibonacci on GBP USD 1 minute time frame, this was the previous range from this point to this point. Now price has pulled back to discount. You can see, I think it has filled this fair value gap. You can see that I think it has filled this fair value gap. Okay, it has not filled it entirely, but you can see. So we had this fair value gap here on this range. Price, if you apply your Fibonacci from this swing low to this swing high, this is a discount area. Price has pulled back to a discount area, so it's likely going to pull back to. If you apply your Fibonacci from this swing high to this swing low, this would be a premium area, right? Then at this premium area, you have your fair value gap, which I think would be a good area to consider selling. So if you want to sell GBP/USD, patiently wait for price to pull back. Okay, wait for price to pull back to this zone before you sell. I hope that is clear. I hope that is clear. So it's either price pulls back to this zone or there's a breakout from this support and we can go bearish on GBP/USD. That's my take on GBP/USD. Euro/USD also should be bearish. Okay, so GBP/USD, we have let's start with the daily time frame. Okay, so on the daily time frame, we have we had a fair value gap here. Has that gap been filled entirely? Let's see. Okay, you can see on a daily time frame we had this fair value gap was created. After this breakout, the fair value gap was created. We could also see this as a break and retest, right? This is a resistance broken, and price, when the resistance is broken, price is expected to pull back to retest that resistance, which has become a support, and that is what we'll see playing out in the market. Price broke out from this resistance zone, and it has retested this this level. So let's go down to 4 hour. Let's see what's happening on 4 hour. Okay, so we had an AMA candle formed there. I think that is the first. This is not valid. I wish the body of this AMA was below the low of this candle. I would have said it is valid, but the fact that the body of this AMA is above the close of this candle and also the low of this candle, I don't see this as a valid bullish pattern. Okay, and also the higher time frame still indicates that still have sellers in the markets. Okay, so you can see on 4 hour time frame the structure we have here. We had an high here, we had a low, we had a lower high, we had a lower low, right? Lower high, lower low. So you can see the structure we have on 4 hour time frame. It's a bearish structure. It's a bearish structure. That should tell you that GBP/USD is still, Euro/USD is still bearish. You can see we had this fair value gap here. What they did there was to test the fair value gap. It wasn't filled entirely. So I believe they're going to come fill this fair value gap. And below this fair value gap, we still have a fair value gap here. Okay, that has not been filled. You can see they attempted filling this gap at this point. You can see this was an attempt, and I see this as a trap for retail traders. This low here, a lot of retail traders have their stop losses at this level, so I believe they are coming for this. So if you are selling Euro/USD, this should be your first target. This low should be your first target. Okay, we have this relative equal low here, which is an area of liquidity. This low also is an area of liquidity. So if you are selling Euro/USD today, you could target 1.1373. Okay, so these are the areas I'll be considering buying Euro USD. Okay, and bias for Euro USD today is bearish. I hope that is clear. I hope that is clear. Are you guys still here? Can you still hear me? Can you hear me? Are you still here? So let's look at other that GU, AU, with other instruments, DAX 40, CAD JPY. DAX 40, CAD JPY. If there's any other instrument you want me to look at, let me know. DAX 40, let's look at CAD JPY. CAD JPY. CAD JPY. Let's start with the daily. Wow. CAD is set for buy. CAD is set for buy. CAD is set for buy. You can see we had a tiny fair value gap here on the daily time frame. That gap got filled yesterday. It created a low. So yesterday low has been cleared. So this is a buy. If you are buying CAD JPY, your TP should be at this level. Okay, so that's what I see playing out on CAD JPY. 106.02, 106.88. That's about how many pips? And your stop loss, let's see, stop loss should be the low of, is about 40 pips. 40 pips for 86 pips. This is a good setup on CAD JPY. This is a nice setup on CAD JPY. Let me see 4 hour. On 4 hour, we still have this fair value gap here on 4 hour. And this fair value gap is at a discount area. This fair value gap is at a discount area. Okay. So, okay. We still have this card, this equal low here is an area of liquidity. So let's see 1 hour. They might want to come for this low. They might want to come for this low. Okay, so I would advise you wait for a retracement to this zone. Wait for a retracement. If price pulls back to this zone, you can look for buys on CAD JPY. Okay, so I want to take no. Okay, so that's my take on CAD JPY. Okay, it's a buy. It's a buy. It's a buy. I think it's set, but it might still retrace. Wait for a little retracement, just like I shared with you guys on GBP JPY. Wait for a little retracement to this level before you buy. Okay, that's what I see playing out. Wait. If you wait for price to pull back to this zone, since there's a possibility for them to come fill the fair value gap we identified on 4 hour, 1 hour time frame. Okay, so if you are buying from this zone, if I decide to buy from this zone, my stop loss would be, let's say, 10 pips below this level. Is about that should be about 69 pips or 70 pips. 70 pips. But if price pull back to this zone, you see a buy opportunity from this zone, your stop loss at least will reduce to, let's say, 50 or 40 pips. You set your stop loss 50 pips. So I would prefer price pulls back to this zone before buying, so that my stop loss can be few pips below this fair value gap. But if I buy from the current market price, the risk will be too high. The risk will be too high. So I'll patiently wait for the retracement. I hope that is clear. I hope that is clear. So let's look at DAX 40. If you have any pair you want me to analyze, let me know. DAX. DAX. I shared this with you guys yesterday. DAX is bearish. It was bearish. It's been bearish. Okay. Been bearish. So let's start with let me see the weekly again. Let me see the weekly. So this is a bearish setup on the weekly time frame. It's a bearish setup on the weekly time frame. Okay, so let's go down to, could it be that price just want to come retest this broken resistance? Could it be? Okay, could it be? Let's see daily. Okay, so it is still bearish. It is still bearish. But if today's candle closes bullish, price could retrace back to fill the fair value gap here. Okay, if today's candle closes bullish, price might want to retrace back to fill this fair value gap. Okay, it's still bearish at the moment, but I don't think it's the right time to sell DAX. I don't think this is the right time. You should have sold DAX from this point. So if you didn't sell from this point, I don't think this would be the right time to sell on DAX. Wait for a retracement. This is an area of liquidity which I believe they would go for. This high here is an area of liquidity. They will go for it and most likely will come and fill this fair value gap. Okay, so if I want to take any trade on DAX, I would rather risk buying than selling. Okay, I would rather risk buying than selling. Okay, I'll buy to this zone, then look for sales from that area. But let's see what's happening for our. Okay, so if 4-hour candle closes bullish, if it closes bullish, this becomes a support. Okay, so it means if I'm buying, my stop loss will be at this level. Okay, 23,101.7. That will be my stop loss if I'm buying. But I need to ensure a bullish reversal pattern has formed on one of the time frames. So let's see 1 hour. Let's see what happened on 1 hour. So you can see this is a bullish reversal pattern. Can you see this? This is a bullish reversal pattern on 1 hour time frame. Okay, let's go to, there should be a shifting market structure on 15 minutes or 5 minutes time frame. Okay, so you can see shifting market structure. We had a mitigation here. Can you see this? Here's the trend. Okay, so we had this mitigation. You can see. Okay, this mitigation created a break. Sorry, this is a mitigation block here. This is a mitigation block here. So you want to wait for price to pull back to this mitigation block, this level. If you want to buy, wait for price to pull back to this fair value gap, which is in confluence with this mitigation block. Okay, wait for price to pull back to this zone before you buy. Okay, wait for price to pull back to this zone. You can see they attempted filling the fair value gap at this point, but it wasn't filled. So they created this low. This low is a trap for retail traders. Their stop loss is residing at this previous low, which I believe they will come for. So wait for price to pull back to this zone before you buy DAX. Okay, would only consider going bearish on DAX if this support is broken. If this support is broken, in as much this support is still valid, still holds, DAX is bullish. So wait for retracement. Okay, wait for retracement, because if you look at what we have here, we have, I think there's a tiny fair value gap here. Okay, there's a tiny fair value gap here. We had a support which became a resistance. Price is at that area, so we might see a little retracement from this area, and price might retrace back to this fair value gap before going bullish. So if I'm going to take a trade on German 40, to be at this point, but I don't think selling German 40 at the current market price is not a good offer. It's not a good offer. It's not a good offer. If you are yet to give the video a thumbs up, please do that now. Do that now. Give it a thumbs up. And if it's your first time participating on the live stream, do subscribe to the channel so that anytime I come on live, you get notified by YouTube. Any question? Is there any other instrument you want us to look at? Okay, let's look at gold. Let's look at gold before we end the session. If you have any question, please drop it now. Drop it. Gold. Okay, let's start. Let me see the weekly on gold. Gold has been bearish this week, as expected. Gold has been bearish. Let's see daily. Okay. Gold has been bearish, but I'm considering buying gold. The bias for gold is bullish for the week. Okay, though I've been bearish on gold, but for the week, my bias is bullish. So you can see gold just filled this fair value gap on the daily time frame, which is in confluence with this resistance on support. Okay, so if today's candle closes bullish, we should expect buys on gold. Okay, we should expect buys, but at the moment gold is still bearish. But if today's candle closes bullish, you can see if it closes bullish, then we could look for buys. But with what I'm seeing here, let's apply our Fibonacci from this swing low to this swing high. Okay, so price is currently at a discount area. Okay, it's currently at a discount area, but I would love to see price come test, clear the liquidity residing at this low before going bullish on gold. Okay, I would like to see this low cleared before going bullish on gold. Okay, so let's go down to lower time frame. Let's see if there's a fair value gap that was created here on a lower time frame that gold needs to come and fill. Okay, so you can see, and you see this fair value gap, okay, this would be a good area to consider buying gold. I see the current low that was created here as a trap. I see this as a trap. This is a trap for retail traders. You know, you would agree with me, a lot of retail traders, would have executed buy, and their stop losses would be residing at this previous low. Many would have entered buy, so their stop losses. So this would be a very good area to consider buying gold. So my bias for gold today is still bearish. It's still bearish. So you can see on gold, we had a fair value gap here on gold. This gap here has been filled. So you can see if 4 hour candle closes below or in between this gap, that will be a sell. Okay, 4 hour candle closes below this gap, then we should expect gold to sell to this zone. If 4 hour candle closes below this this fair value gap, let's see 15 minutes. Okay, so that's it. 4 hour and 1 hour candle closes below this level, then you should look for sales. You should look for sales on, because on 15 minutes, let's see if we apply Fibonacci from this swing high to swing low. I think price is at a premium area now, right? Okay, just tested the equilibrium. Okay, equilibrium. So if that price pulls back to this area 75.0, or price breaks out from this fair value gap, closes below it, then we look for sell. That's what I see playing out on gold today. So I'll look for sales on gold. Okay, I'll look for sales on gold if 1 hour or 4 hour candle closes below this level. Please give the video a thumbs up if you haven't done that. Give it a thumbs up. So I think that will be all for today. Any question? Do you have any question? Any question? Any question? Any question? Any question? Mr. Ebuka, Daily Scriptural Inspiration, Mr. Adebayo, Mr. Raphael, Elijah, Otesco. If you have any question, let me know in the comment section. Mr. Joseph. Any question? Any question? Any question? Any question? Any question? So Tesco, you trade almost all the instruments. You want me to analyze oil? Oil should be bearish. Oil should be bearish, considering what is happening in Iran and the war, the ongoing war. It should be negative for oil. Okay, it should be negative for oil. Okay, it should be negative for oil. Fundamentally, oil should be bearish. Oil should be bearish, considering the ongoing war. Russia against Ukraine and also Iran against Israel. So these are oil producing nations, countries. So the war will have a negative effect on oil. Okay. It should be bearish. Okay. So I think you should be looking for sales. Look for sales. Look for sales. You can see price is currently at a premium area. Price is currently at a premium area. Okay, you should look for sales. Oil cannot be bullish right now with what is happening. I don't think it would be wise to buy oil. I don't think it would be wise to buy oil. It will not be wise to buy oil. Look for sales. Oil should sell. Look for sales on oil. Okay, look for sales on oil. You're welcome, Mr. Adebayo. Thanks for your participation. I appreciate you for your participation. So I hope that is clear, Tesco. You should be looking for sales on oil and not buys. Look for sales on oil. Look for sales. Okay, you might want to wait. Maybe the liquidity. You might want to wait for the liquidity residing at this previous site to be cleared before you sell. But oil should be bearish. Oil should be bearish. Okay. I just want to confirm if there is a fair value gap here. Let me confirm something. So we have this fair value gap here on, let's see, we have this fair value gap here. And I believe if you go to maybe 1 minute, we could have a fair value gap here. So let's see where price is at the moment. Let's see. You can see, so price is at that fair value gap. So if 4-hour candle closes below this fair value gap, then you should look for sales. If 4-hour candle closes below this fair value gap, you could start selling oil. You could start selling oil. If 4-hour candle closes below this zone, you could look for sales on oil. All right, that will be all for today's session. I wish you all a profitable trading day. Bye for now. The session on risk and money management didn't hold yesterday. Okay, so I'm planning to host you guys on Saturday. The time will be communicated on the various social platform. Okay, the time will be communicated. I wasn't available yesterday. I had another appointment, so I had to just reschedule, postpone the class. So I'll keep you guys informed. Okay, I'll keep you guys informed.